Welcome to Audible Stories. The King of the Kings. The King Solomon was called the King of the Kings. He was blessed with the power of speaking to the nature and all natural beings. He had many treasures, but the most extraordinary one was his magical carpet. It was a gift from God, and it was 60 miles long and 60 miles wide, of rich green silk woven with gold. The magical carpet carried the king and his army and his servants, his iron stoves and his stone pots, his horses and other animals and all the belongings he wished. At the king's command, the wind would lift the carpet and send it sailing through the air, going wherever the king wished to travel. That magical carpet filled the king with pride. One day he gathered his attendants, his soldiers and his cooks and thousands of townspeople, and they all settled themselves upon the carpet. Solomon called to the wind, "Let us sail." Up, up, up above the earth they soared, and as the people cheered and cried out with delight, the king's ego swelled. He looked below him at the sky and the earth, and he smiled. "I am the most powerful man," he said. "God has blessed me and made me ruler of all this," and then he smiled still more broadly. "No one in the world is as powerful as I." And just as he finished speaking, the wind sent a blast so powerful, the carpet tipped. The people shrieked in horror as thousands fell from the carpet, tumbling to earth. Solomon was furious. "Stop blowing," he cried to the wind. "Stop this instantly. I command you." But the wind roared in his ears. "I shall do as you wish, but you must promise to remember you are not all powerful. You are only a man. Just one man." Solomon promised, but the wind swept the carpet forward. The King Solomon had another lesson to learn. For many days and nights, the carpet swept through the heavens. At long last it came to rest upon a mountaintop peak, and when Solomon stepped from the carpet, he gasped at the sight before him. There stood a palace made of gleaming gold, so bright and beautiful, it nearly blinded him. The king had never seen a sight as awe-inspiring as this palace. Naturally he wished to see inside. "We must explore," he said to his soldiers, and so he sent them forward to search for the entrance. Round and round the soldiers marched, but they could find no door, no entryway, not a single window or gate. "Search again," King Solomon cried, and they walked around again, looking everywhere, but nowhere could they find a place to enter. Suddenly an enormous eagle swooped down before the king. He bowed and said to Solomon, "You are the blessed King of Kings. I am your servant, who have come to serve you. Tell us, please, how do we enter this palace?" King Solomon asked, but the eagle shook his head. "I am 1200 years old and I have never seen an entrance to this palace. Perhaps my brother can help you. He is older than I." He called to his brother, and soon another eagle appeared. This one larger, sleek and black, with powerful talons. He too bowed. He said, "I do not know. Perhaps he knows a way." He summoned his brother, and from the heavens a great, old eagle swept down to the mountaintop. He too bowed. "King of Kings, I am honored to be of service. Can you lead me inside this palace?" Solomon asked, but the oldest eagle shook his head. "I have never seen an entryway. though my father told me that centuries ago there was an entrance at the western wall. By now it is covered with thousands of years of dust and dirt. King Solomon, however, was determined, and he called to the wind, "Remove the dust and dirt from this wall. I wish to see this palace." The wind blew with all its strength, and a fierce whirlwind rose up. Everyone held on, for their life, to the carpet as all the dust of centuries swirled away. An enormous gate appeared, and above that gate, Solomon read these words inscribed, "O sons of men, know that we lived in great pleasure inside these walls until a famine befell us. We could not live on jewels, and everyone died." Stepping inside, Solomon saw another message inscribed above the lock, "No man may enter unless he is a prophet or a king." And there he saw a box holding a key. King Solomon took the key and opened the gate. He stepped inside. He could not believe the sight before him. Every wall and every ceiling was studded with rubies and diamonds, emeralds and sapphires. The floors gleamed, solid gold. In awe he walked from room to room, each one more beautiful than the previous one. Finally, he reached a marble pillar. Inscribed upon this pillar, Solomon read these words, "I reigned over thousands of people. I was wealthy beyond all compare. Everyone admired me. I was the most powerful man in the world. And when the angel of death came for me, I could not resist him. In the end every man turns to dust. All you will leave behind is your name." Solomon bowed his head. Now he understood. Power does not last. Neither does wealth. He understood and whispered, "To everything, there is a time and season, and for every purpose, there is a reason." And so with that understanding and learning, they returned to earth, and from that day on, King Solomon devoted himself to doing good for whole mankind. And hence the people always remembered and called him as the King of the Kings. If you like the story, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for listening.